Good evening, folks. This evening's topic C is 3 months talking about death and dying, why grief shouldn't be taboo. So I'm going to go through that for you for presentation tonight. So sit back and enjoy, please. Okay, here we go. The phrase 3 months talking about death and dying, why grief shouldn't be taboo, refers to the video segment published approximately 3 months ago that explores the societal discomfort surrounding death, dying, and grief. Based on the surrounding page content, the video appears to be part of a series called uh, Expecurious Expectations, and it features a deeply personal story highlighting a father whose daughter died just 9 months apart from another significant loss, underscoring the emotional weight of grief and the silence that often surrounds it. Here's what the context suggests. Core themes of the video: breaking the silence. The video advocates for open conversations about death and grief, challenging the cultural uh, tendency to treat these topics as taboo. Personal loss. It centers on a poignant narrative of bereavement, likely aiming to humanize grief and encourage empathy. Emotional honesty. By sharing raw experiences, the video pushes viewers to confront their own discomfort with mortality and mourning. The page content clues. The video is short, 1 minute, suggesting it's a teaser or awareness piece rather than a full documentary. It's it's hosted on a mainstream platform, indicating an effort to reach broad audiences and normalize grief related dialogue. Give me 1 second, guys, please. If you're exploring culturally responsive approaches to end of life care or grief, support This kind of media can be a powerful tool for myth busting and community engagement. Want to co design a grief toolkit or discussion guide inspired by this theme? Grief, despite being under being a universal human experience, it off it's is often surrounded by silence and discomfort. Here are some of the most common societal taboos and misconceptions that shape how grief is perceived and expressed. Common taboos around grief. Talking about death is morbid. Many cultures avoid conversations about death, fearing it will invite sadness or bad luck. This avoidance can leave grieving individuals feeling isolated and unsupported. Grief has a time limit. There's a widespread belief that people should move on quickly. Long term grief is often prolonged or seen as weakness despite its natural vulnerability. Certain emotions are incorporate inappropriate. Feelings like anger, guilt, or even relief are often judged. Society society tends to expect sadness and tears, ignoring the complex emotional spectrum of grief. Public grieving is embarrassing. Expressing grief openly, crying in public, sharing memories can be seen as attention seeking or uncomfortable. This, this discourages communal mourning and emotional honesty. Seeking help is a sign of failure. Therapy or support groups may be stigmatized, especially to communities with cultural or religious based bias against mental health services. Some groups, like African American or Latino communities, may face additional barriers due to mistrust or stigma. Children should be shielded from grief. Adults even Adults often avoid discussing death with children, fearing it will traumatize them. This can lead to confusion and emotional suppression in young people. Grief is only for death. Loss of health, identity, relationships, or even dreams can trigger grief. These these non-death losses are often validated or overlooked, invalidated or overlooked. Just a second. Be right with you. Just cultural layers of grief, taboos. Different countries get this. Different communities may experience grief through unique lenses. African American communities may grieve privately due to cultural norms around strength and resilience. Latino families may prioritize somatic symptoms and spiritual coping, sometimes avoiding mental health services due to stigma. Would you like to co-create culturally responsive grief toolkit or myth-busting guide tailored to specific communities or care settings? I'd love to help design one that honors diverse expressions of mourning, challenging societal taboos around grief requires a mix of cultural and humanity, storytelling, and systems level change. Here's a framework that blends individual, community, and institutional strategies. tailored to your own participatory, equality driven lens. Normalize grief normalize grief through public dialogue. Host community forums or storytelling circles where people share diverse grief experiences, death, chronic illnesses, identity losses, etc. Use digital platforms to amplify voices from marginalized communities, especially those navigating disenfranchised or ambiguous grief. Integrate grief education into school curricula, workplace wellness programs, and public health campaigns. Hold on, guys. Be right with you. Drop something. Be right with you. Okay. Let's see. Where? Give me 1 second. Use art and media to destigmatize, support, or co-create short films, podcasts, or virtual exhibits. Grief across cultures and lifespans highlights intergenerational narratives, e.g., elders reflecting on loss, youth navigating grief in digital spaces. Okay. Collaborate with local artists to design grief murals, memory walls, or ritual spaces that invite public reflection. Okay. Next page. Include myth busting sections that challenge harmful beliefs like grief should be private or you should be over it by now. Offer modular prompts for life review, legacy building, and communal mourning rituals. Train gate train gatekeepers and fortune workers, equipped clergy, teachers, healthcare providers, and social workers with trauma-informed grief support training. Emphasize non-pathologicalizing language and validation of complex emotions like guilt, anger, or relief. Encourage peer-led support models that reflect community values and cultural norms. Advocate for policy and infrastructure change. Push for bereavement leave policies that reflect the nonlinear nature of grief. Fund grief-informed community spaces, libraries, senior centers, clinics that offer ongoing support. Include grief matrices and public health evaluations, especially in aging, mental health, and caregiving domains. Would you like to co-design a grief literacy toolkit or participatory campaign that addresses these taboos in specific community settings? I can help you build out frameworks, prompts, and evaluation matrices to make it actionable. Here are some standout initiatives that have successfully opened up public dialogue about around grief, each one blending storytelling, cultural responsiveness, and community engagement in ways that align beautifully with your participatory uh, echoes. Speaking Grief by WPSU and supported by public media. Okay, so that is it for tonight. Unless I jump back on later for a D, which I might do. Haven't decided yet. So if I do, I'll see you guys for D. If not, I'll see you tomorrow for shows. For now, Gator Wellness, take care, folks.